progress.
Okay, good morning everyone. Thank you for coming out. So we're going to try two short Shiurim. We're going to start with Daf Pei in Kesuvos, and then Daf Pei Aleph. Actually, these are some of the hardest Gemaras that I've ever learned. However, what's ironic is, even though the Iyun is hard, the learning the blot is hard, the Shaklavatariya is very hard. But the pockets that we're going to do are, ironically, probably clearer and more understandable than just learning the Shaklavatariya of the Gemara. Let's start with Daf Pei. Daf Pei talks about the following subject. It's really Ayin Tesamud Beis in the Mishnah. The Mishnah said on Ayin Tesamud Beis, somebody who spends money on the nechasim of his wife, if he invests a lot and he only eats a little, or he eats a lot and he invests a little, whatever he spent is spent, whatever he ate is ate. He cannot retrieve the money he invested, nor can he be charged for the purest that he ate. However, if he spent money and he didn't eat anything, then he gets reimbursed for the money that he put in. So the question is, what exactly is the reason he's not reimbursed for his expenses? Isn't that unusual? After all, he should be reimbursed for his expenses. How is it different if I come down to your house and I paint your house, and your house goes up $10,000 and it costs me $2,500 to paint it? I get reimbursed $2,500. Or if I come and clean your house for Pesach, I spent $500 and now your house is worth $1,500 more, I get reimbursed. Hayored l'soich stei chaveroi v'nata shaloi bershus, the Gemara says on that pay, shaman loi v'yadai ala tachtoina. You don't get what you made it go up, but you do get what your expenses are. So why is the husband any less when he is putting expenses into his wife's field? Why is he worse than a stranger? Why would a stranger get reimbursed and yet the husband is not reimbursed for the money that he puts in? That's the question at hand. And let me see if I could pull up. Here. Okay, so basically we have two different approaches in the Rishonim as to why the husband does not get reimbursed for his expenses. The first is the Rabbeinu Yonah. Rabbeinu Yonah says, and this is a Rabbeinu Yonah that is found, I can tell you where, right here in our Gemara, on the Mishnah, Hoitzi harbe v'achal kima. Perush, im naflu la nechasim, nichse milug. If nichse milug fall to her, hadin hu shabal yaved asadis, the husband works the field, k'fi mashatzarch, k'dei shala yafsedu, so it doesn't get ruined, v'shayochel hu kala peros, and he eats all the fruits. So Mishnah zu balam, they know this Mishnah comes to teach, afal pi shahoitzi harbe, even though he spent a lot of money, v'lo yacham an peros ki amad, he only enjoyed a little bit, bein shaloi bala karka yoser, ki im zeh hama'at, whether it didn't come to this land anymore, except for this a little bit. Maybe it only produced a little bit. Bein shaba yoser v'nevad v'lo yachal ki amad, or produced a lot, and for whatever reason he only enjoyed it a little bit. Ein noisin lai ha'hitza. We don't give him the full expense. Ela amrinan, we say ki ba'oisai hama'at sha'achal gila daitai shabavur shayochel hu ha'peros haya oisa. Here's the line. We say, meaning, why doesn't he get reimbursed? He put in $1,000. He only enjoyed $10. So then why can't he be reimbursed $990? Listen to this. Ela amrinan ki ba'oisai hama'at sha'achal. The fact that he ate a little bit, gila daita, he's showing shabavur shayochel ha'peros haya oisa. The reason he invested is to eat. His intention was to make it go up in value, to be able to squeeze out a lot from it, kedei sheyasa peros harbe, to make a lot of fruits, l'shana acheres, for future years. Meaning, you know why he doesn't get reimbursed? Because the fact that he put money into it, it demonstrates the only reason he put money into it is in order to really eat it up well, to eat a lot of fruits. So we don't reimburse him. He had an ulterior motive over here. He wanted to eat a lot of fruits. Therefore, when he divorces her, he only gets what he eats. It doesn't matter if he ate and then he spent. This is the Shita Tabine Rabbeinu Yonah. Now, why is this not similar to a sharecropper who also eats fruits and yet gets reimbursed? Because the sharecropper is only intending to eat mixas peiros. He only wants to eat a little bit of the fruits. Since he only wants to eat a little bit of the fruits, therefore we reimburse him for his efforts, his expenses. But the husband, the little bit that he ate, that shows he wanted to really eat it up. He was going to eat more fruits than he put into it. So by a husband where we surmise he wanted to eat more fruits than he put into it, then even if he ate less fruits, he does not get reimbursed for his expenses. Those are the breaks. That was the chance he took by investing in this field. That's Rabbeinu Yonah. Rabbeinu Yonah learns that the svara, the reason why the husband does not get reimbursed is because his intention was to eat all the fruits. However, there is a ritva. No, there's a Ramban and the Rashba in Masechta Bava Metzia that gives a different lamdas. The lamdas that these Rishonim give is if the husband invests to eat the fruits, he's moichal the money that he invests. He's moichal. We say he's moichal. He's probably moichal to his wife the expenses. Why is he moichal? Because one day he hopes to inherit this piece of land. Therefore, he's moichal the expenses he put into it. Says the Ramban and the Rashba, Ikal Medak, my kosha, v'hamotzi hoitzois shal nichse ishtai, shu nizares v'niskar v'afil hachi lo yavino le mad ashbach. We don't give a husband what the field goes up in value. Elamasha hoitzi, umasha achal. What he spent, he spent. What he ate, he ate. So says the Ramban and the Rashba, Yesh loymar dahasa midin mechila nagube. The reason the husband doesn't get reimbursed is because he's moichal. Kivan she'enoi moitzi ela lertsoinoi. Because he's spending the money willingly. Nobody's forcing him to. Nobody's requiring him to. Ve'en hanachasim halalu yoitzi mitachas yadai. And these possessions do not come out from under his possession, under his hand. Ela meritsoinoi, only out of his goodwill. Afhu eino yored bahem ladas. He too does not. He too is not going down with the same intention litol ka'aras. So again, what the Ramban and the Rashba is saying is that when a husband puts money into his wife's nichse milug, there's a din of mechila, because he's doing it willingly, and the possessions will remain in his domain unless he decides to terminate it. So he's hoping one day to get it. It's in his rishus, so he's moichal. Okay, so there are two approaches in the Rishonim as to why a husband is not reimbursed for the expenses he puts into his wife's field, despite the fact that yored l'toich stei chaveroi gets reimbursed for expenses. The first is Rabbeinu Yonah. Rabbeinu Yonah says because since he intends to get a lot of fruits, so therefore we do not allow him to get his expenses back because he was hoping to get more out of it. And the Ramban and the Rashba say it's midin mechila. So basically there are a lot of nafka minas between these two approaches. For example,
But even though, so in the case where he doesn't get to eat, he shouldn't get the money back either. If he didn't eat, then he shouldn't get the money back either.
If he didn't eat, so it sounds like he only is moichel because he's being nene from it. Because he's benefiting from it, he's moichel. Since he gets something out of it, he's moichel. Or we only don't allow him to collect expenses if he intended to eat a lot of fruits. But if he never ate any fruits, then what's the svara of Rabbeinu Iyun? Rabbeinu Iyun is saying that we don't pay him back for expenses because his plan was to really eat this thing as much as possible. But if he didn't have any fruits, then perhaps that wasn't his intention. We can't say, oh, your intention was to be oichel as many purest as possible. That wasn't his intention because he didn't have any. What would you say about the following case? Let's say he said in front of Adam, I am not moichel the expenses I put in to this field. What would the halacha be then?
So it would not work. I mean, he would...
Then l'chayra, he's not moichel. Meaning, if the whole reason why he doesn't get expenses is presumably he's moichel because he's oichel peiros, but if he says in front of Adam he's not moichel, he's not moichel. Now that l'chayra would only work according to the Ramban and the Rashba, who says the whole reason is because of mechila, but according to the other shita, he says it's not because of mechila, it's because he's oichel from the peiros. So it doesn't matter if he says he's not moichel. We still perhaps would not give him his expenses. So the Ritva says, Mistabra dafilu bereisha im hisna bevezdin oy beedim she'enoi moichel. So then yishava kama hoitzvita. Then he would swear how much he spent and he would collect. That l'chayra only works in the shita of the Ramban and the Rashba. That the lamdus of why he doesn't get reimbursed is because he's moichel. So if we clearly know he's not moichel, then he would not get reimbursed. But according to Rabbeinu Iyun, where he doesn't get reimbursed because, according to Rabbeinu Iyun, where he doesn't get reimbursed because he's being, he planned on eating all the fruits, so then even if he says he's not moichel, we still would not reimburse him. What would you say about this case? Here's an interesting psak of the Rif. The Rif says this whole din that a husband is not reimbursed is only if he divorces her willingly. But what if she rebels against him and he has no choice but to divorce her because she's not according herself properly? The Rif says then in that case he does get reimbursed. Who does that work in? Again, that works according to the Rashba and the Ramban, that the only reason he doesn't get reimbursed is because he's moichel. But we could say he's only moichel in a situation where she acts properly. But if he has no choice and he has to divorce her because she's a moiredes, so then l'chayra he's not moichel to her. He's not moichel the height size. So then the Rif would fit in. The Rif says mistabralan masnis diktani masha hoitzi masha achal. That's only kishabal roitzel agarsha. That's only if the husband wants to divorce her. Abba b'mayredes, if she rebels, abala bein achal, bein lo yachal, whether she ate or not. Yishava kama hoitzi v'ito. She has to swear. He would swear how much he spent, and he would collect. Because even if it's just, he says the lo yehei alamatana hu diyavla ha'amrinan. The Rif says, and he continues, it would still be something that he would have to. That he would be able to collect for. Now, here's another possible nafkamina, a very interesting nafkamina. What if the husband is oichel peiros, but the peiros that he ate did not come from the expenses he put in. It came from elsewhere. In other words, the husband put in invested money. However, the money that he invested did not yield peiros. Let's say the guy was nene from elsewhere. He wasn't nene from the expenses he put in. So then, the Hafla brings the Shita, the Chalkas Mechokek. He says, Kasav Chalkas Mechokek, the Tzarch Sheyochal HaPeiros Mehaitzazu. You have to eat the fruits from this expense. Avalim Achal Peiros Mimakam Acher. But if he ate fruits from elsewhere, Loi Mahani, it doesn't help. Says the Chalkas Mechokek, you have to eat fruits from this expense. But if you eat fruits from elsewhere, it would not work. Then he would be reimbursed. Who do you think that works out according to? L'char, that only works in the world of mechila. Maybe the husband's only meichel if I get something out of the work that I put in. But if I didn't get anything out of the work I put in, I'm not meichel. But if the Lamda says, look, we are not allowing you to charge for your expenses because you get something out of it, so then maybe it wouldn't matter whether he's getting something out of what he put in or not. So the Hafla says, Lanias daiti tzarachi and minaleha. The Lefi Devarav, according to the Chalkas Mechokek, Neima Nami, we should say, Im Kidem va'achal peiros. Let's say the husband first ate fruits. V'achar kach choitzi ala sada. Would we say there also it doesn't help because he's not nena from his hoitza? I would say maybe yeah. Okay, so these are just three nafkaminas between what the lamdas of why a husband is not charged. It cannot collect for his expenses. Is it because he planned on eating a lot of fruits, or is it midin mechila? If it's midin mechila, then it would make sense. What if he's not moichel explicitly? Or maybe he's not moichel if she's a moiredes. But if it's mechila, then in a situation where maybe there is no mechila, if he's not nene from the expenses that he put in. Okay, so these are a few nafkaminas between these various mahalchim. Okay, this is the first topic. Let me go back here.
Recording stopped.